touch the flow when you drop it.
That's not even funny to me anymore. The shit that I pick up, knowing what it is.
Oh. Yeah, don't pick it up. It's just flat. It's just solid.
But we digress.
So what are your sons' names? I've seen them on Facebook. You have 2 sons and you have 3 stepkids.
Yeah, wow. Nice, good research.
Yeah.
I have 2 sons of my own, of my loins, Christopher and Alexander.
Awesome.
Who grew up in Cedar Rapids with their mother.
Mm-hmm. And they also...
Whom I've never met. No,
she's like watching right now. What the? So they actually, you've actually taught them a lot of stuff before too, like how to, they play guitar, they sing, they do a lot of stuff.
I can't say that I ever actually sat down and taught anybody anything, but they just sort of observe,
Right.
They say Dad likes to sing. Their mother's very musical. She plays the piano. No, we're divorced. She's musical, sings, plays the piano, So they just sort of pick stuff up. Just
awesome.
Wanting to participate.
Yeah.
Do you think it's genetic at all?
I don't think it's called the Partridge Family gene. Some people have it and some don't. It's families that sing together. They have little
right, exactly.
Partridge sperm. We can keep going down that alley or just stop right there. I don't know that it's genetic necessarily, although you need to have the apparatus.
Right.
If you were sitting here talking to my 21-year-old son, Chris, our voices are identical.
Oh,
same range.
Really?
You wouldn't know if you closed your eyes.
No
who's
kidding.
speaking. Yeah.
And that's an age difference. You sound exactly the same. At what point did your voice? Have you always sounded the same?
I've always sounded like a 21-year-old. And at the clubs that I go to, it's a real advantage. No, I'm totally kidding.
Hilarious.
Completely kidding.
Oh man. So for everybody watching or listening, we're actually sitting here with Gary Kroeger, who former SNL star, and he's also CEO, restaurant owner, creative director, philanthropist, congressional candidate, and maybe a little bit of politics sprinkled in. So thanks for coming to the show, Gary.
Or someone with attention deficit disorder. that's someone looking for a job apparently who doesn't know what he wants to do.
That resume is long. It's like 3 pages long.
It's like a Swiss Army knife on a resume. Damn, that's good.
You probably don't even have to submit a resume at this point. Just a piece of paper or something. Or how's that go?
Kind of, sort of. But I've never led a traditional life. I mean, for 20 years plus, it was show business where a resume matters, but your job interview is an audition. It's not a corporate world.
Right.
Now, I've been in a corporate world for 17 years, but I had one job.
Right.
So I've never used a resume. Now I left that job a year ago, and I've been working on my consulting firm. So I've had to develop a resume, like one of those professional, like one of my career objectives and things like that. I've never used one before.
That's insane.
Do you have to Google it?
I did. I got a template. And I basically, if anybody watching, I basically got the template and just changed the words as they were appropriate.
Yeah. Everybody does that.
Probably everybody out of college has the same resume I've got. It's just that mine says creative director instead of,
I try not to overstep my resumes. Sometimes I'll exaggerate and they'll be like, "Oh, you going to prove that?" Or
well, and this is going to sound arrogant, but I never had to prove it because I just Google me.
Yeah, right.
Because I have a Google presence.
Exactly.
I've done enough stuff over whatever years you're probably not bullshitting us. Even if I am, they're going to, all right, page 12. All right, fine.
Oh, that's such a badass line. Like, just Google me.
Just Google me.
What?
Just Google me. I'm going to try that out on everyone.
Well, are you married?
No.
Well, that's a good pickup line at the bar. Google me.
Yeah.
Google me.
Yeah, well, the problem is my name's Andrew Jones, so I have to be like the most badass generic name person
You're going to have
there.
to rob a bank or something
exactly.
to be number one.
Yep. And then continue to do it because eventually I'll fall behind something else. So there's that baseball player that's above me, and they always confuse me.
Yeah, there you go.
All the time, dude.
All the time.
So also, one thing, some news that just came out recently, and I know you are a Packers fan, right?
I was almost wearing my Green Bay Packers.
You were almost wearing the socks.
I wear different socks every day, and I have Packer socks, and I almost wore them here, not expecting the question. But since we're on my socks, we have AOC socks.
AOC?
We have
I've
AOC
seen those
socks
on
today.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Those are actually pretty detailed. Like, you can tell it's her.
Well, not only that, it's a nice snug sock. It's a quality support sock. I would highly recommend AOC socks.
So there you go. Link in the description.
It's very nice.
Yeah. Link in the description.
Yeah.
We actually have a surprise for you that's sock worthy, I think, a little bit later in the show. So get ready for that.
But I forgot the question.
What does that mean?
Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers recently are thinking about, or actually Aaron Rodgers is thinking about parting ways with Green Bay. And I do have a little inside info on that for you, but I want to hear your perspective first.
Well, I had thought up till today, and I listened to Rich Eisen, and he changed my mind on it. Up to today, I thought, okay, he's just playing the thing. You know, he's just trying to get the best position. They just need to get some wide receivers in there, make him happy, or give him the contract. You know, he is playing his position.
Exactly.
But he's genuinely unhappy with general management and the decisions, because here you've got arguably always one of the best three quarterbacks in the league for the last 10, 12 years, right? All you've ever had to do is give an offensive line, have a defense that keeps him in the game, and give him three feet out there, and you win a Super Bowl. Yeah. The fact that they've only won one, now they get close, but every year it's like you're one player away, and they don't do it. So he's fed up. Yeah. He's fed up. I think he now has choices. He could say, you know what? I want to be the host of not that he's been offered, but he's looking at other things. He's getting married. He could take the year off. He could let he has choices that could stick it to Green Bay. Yeah. So Green Bay has to do what he wants, or he will go to Denver or someplace like that.
Do you think that they will?
I think you have to.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
I think you have to just suck it up, take it up,
because I don't think he's going to play if they don't give him what he wants. He's not going to get traded. He'll just sit the season out, retire, and come back.
Green Bay does have an option on the table. Now, your strongest one is just give Aaron Rodgers the team that he needs, because you're just a game away from the Super Bowl.
Right.
Exactly.
That's their best choice. But they could go, well, look, you're 37, 38 years old.
Right.
We do have a top draft pick. He's 3-4 years from being Super Bowl caliber. Yeah. But they're really good at bringing quarterbacks.
Yeah, he's a ways away, I think.
He's a ways away, but Green Bay knows quarterbacks. Obviously.
Exactly.
So they do feel that they have a young team in him, and a young enough team in every position that they could go, you know what, Aaron, it's been a good run. We'd love to have you. We're not going to compromise the team. We're moving into the future. They could very well do that.
How much of that do you think is the chip on his shoulder, though? Do you think it's really the same situation that he portrays? Because you don't hear much from the management on how this is going. You hear it mostly from him.
From Aaron?
Yeah. Well, he said the other day, said something about, what kind of options you got on the table, because I don't know.
Aaron is a uniquely intelligent human being.
So smart.
He's so smart. Now, that does make him very arrogant.
He's funny, though.
He's very funny. I love him. Trust me. I'm a Packer. I'm a cheesehead. I love Aaron Rodgers. But if I wasn't a cheesehead, I'd hate Aaron Rodgers because he's an arrogant, kind of cocky. Even his family doesn't speak to him, which says something.
That's crazy.
He's ruined my fantasy season multiple times on just the worst situations, and that's why I dislike him in that regard, but I do like him as a person. You know what I mean?
His commercials are hysterical because he's so dry. Yeah. He's great. He can write his own ticket. He'll have to give $30 million back if he doesn't play, but he's fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
We don't need to have a bake sale for Aaron Rodgers or a telethon to raise money. He's fine.
Well, he also doesn't he own part of the Bucks too? Yeah. So I mean, why would you take him away from all that? Everything he has is in.
But he's got a wife soon that makes a little change herself.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, her family, when she was a little girl, used to come to my restaurant in L.A. I remember the family very, very well.
Right.
She was this pretty young lady and wanted to be an actress, and I remember her.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then went to driving cars.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of bake sale, I think we do have some spicy questions from Andrew Jones this afternoon.
Yeah. Let's get to it.
I've heard of these.
They're pretty famous. Their shirt's on the way, I'm sure. But so I kind of wanted to go into, because you, if people don't know, you wrote for SNL. Yep. You were on SNL. I YouTubed the shit out of you when I did it.
Which some of it's good, some of it's embarrassingly bad.
I loved the one with you in the horse costume.
When I was committed suicide?
No, I don't. This must have been something else. It was
the Bedouin gay bar.
Yes, exactly.
All right,
So that was. Did I not finish it? Did it cut off? Is that what happened at the end of that?
We're talking almost 40 years ago. I don't remember.
You wrote it that way, but it didn't perform that way.
Yeah.
Right.
The Bedouin gay bar sketch never existed. It was always just a
We
setup.
can put the link in the description of that.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah. It was hilarious. Yeah, where they talk about your family being in Eddie Murphy's room, and you're like, oh, they didn't even call me.
No, there's a story. That is the suicide one because they come together. So I take off the Bedouin horse head. Right?
Yeah, right.
And Julia or somebody comes in, or Tim Kazarian and says, "Yeah, your parents are here. We've been having a good time."
Yeah.
My parents are here?
Yeah.
Nobody told me.
That's insane.
So I pulled everybody. This is dark, and I don't even think you could do this now, right?
Right.
I pulled out a gun. And I said,
Oh, yeah.
live from New York. And then I hit the trigger, and it said, it's Saturday night, right?
Wow, you can't do that anymore now.
The one I saw, you went like this,
Pulled
and
it
then
out.
it stopped.
Oh, is
Yeah,
that-
cut it off. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's
they
what.
cut it
Maybe,
off, yeah.
maybe so. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, but it says it's Saturday night. Now, Bruce Dern was the host of that show.
Bruce Dern.
And Bruce Dern is a pretty gritty method actor, right?
Yeah.
So he says, Gary, that's not funny the way you're doing it. You're playing it for comedy. We got to believe you want to kill yourself. So I'm opening Saturday Night Live.
That's not something you want to tell someone.
Right.
Exactly.
This kid, I'm 22 years old. If we don't believe you really want to kill yourself, this just isn't funny.
Oh my god.
So I tried to find both worlds.
Yeah,
it's great.
No, it was good, man. I laughed. I thought it was so funny. And before we get to this, I have a book called Live from New York. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a pretty thick book, but it has a glossary in the back. I looked you up, and I meant to bring it, but I didn't bring it. And there is one thing where it talks about there was a host that nobody liked, and you had written a skit for them.
Yeah.
And they crumpled it up and threw it at you. There you go.
I had written the
you want
script.
to tell that
I didn't
story?
write it alone. I think I wrote it with Paul Barras and probably Brad Hall. And I don't even remember it. But, Robert Blake was Beretta. You guys are too young. But
Yeah, I don't
Beretta
even
was
know.
a cop who had a talking cockatoo. That was his gimmick. But he was just this gritty guy in a black T-shirt, just this guy, tough guy, and he had a cockatoo, right? So I thought it would be funny if he was a college professor teaching Shakespeare, and the cockatoo quoted, right, right, to be or not to be, whatever. And I thought it would be kind of funny, if the cockatoo were really sort of his actual intellect was the bird.
Yeah, it spoke for him.
It might have been funnier, but I don't remember. But it was pretty funny, I thought. So he reads it at the big pitch meeting, which is a Monday night in the producer's office. And he goes, I want to show you what I think of this. And he wipes his bottom with it and he throws it at
That's
me.
right. That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I think it probably even hit me. So the room is like, now, I'm this neophyte kid. I think, well, I guess this is what show business is like. I didn't take it personally.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't think, oh, how rude. I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to cry and tell my mother. No, I thought, wow, I'm in the big leagues now. They wipe their butt with my ideas and throw them at me. So I didn't take it personally.
Yeah.
But the story keeps reverberating. It's been in books about the most hated. The writers, David Sheffield, who's in the room, tells it about, poor Kroeger.
Yeah.
Well, it was he was an ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Coming from that guy.
I didn't seek therapy after.
No. I think it even said in the book, like, he just went, meh. He just went, whatever.
Whatever,
So,
yeah, right.
No, I just,
And now when I don't like something, I do this. And I throw it at people.
I'm using it. It almost sounds like you wrote that. Somebody probably stole that. That sounds like Ratatouille.
It
Probably
does.
somebody stole it.
Well, you got to remember, this was 1983 when I'm doing this. So
Ideas just repeat
See,
themselves.
they just weren't ready for it yet.
Right.
See, he passed up on a Disney movie that was huge,
So Ratatouille, though, that reminds me about the restaurant that you used to run, which is Figaro.
yes.
And I was, I'm kind of speechless about it because I never got to experience it. I never got to come there.
It was great. I started in Los Angeles in the late 90s when Shailene Woodley and her family would come in there because they lived in Simi Valley, which is where it was. And it was an Italian restaurant of really excellent. My ex-wife was the...
So this is the original Figaro.
She was the executive chef, and she would come out after the rush and play the piano, and I would sing Frank Sinatra songs to the crowd and stuff like that. We even had the local mafia family. There's a Don and his family in every community in America, at least certainly in the big cities.
Yeah.
So they found me.
Wow.
They found me. They said, we're going to make this our place. You paisan. They're going to make this my place. But what would happen is, there's a story here. Can I tell the whole story?
Yeah.
So they would come out and but they would expect a table. Doesn't matter if it's a busy Friday night. These guys come in, they want the corner booth. You got to figure out how to make it happen. Wow. They'll have a great time. They'll tip the waitresses, but guess what? They don't necessarily pay the bill. It's for the pleasure of their company and alleged protection.
Oh, wow.
Because you don't say, hey, Marco, you didn't pay. Everybody sees the scene with Pacino in their mind. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
Man.
Grating the cheese.
But here's what happened. So I got to know these guys, though. And I know it sounds like I'm name dropping terribly, but this was my life. One of my best friends was George Hamilton. Now, he's an older actor, so he's not really your world, but he had a wine bar in L.A., in Beverly Hills. And these guys, I can't remember which happened first, if they went to Figaro and then there, but I think I met them there, and then they found me at Figaro in Simi Valley. So I would go to George's place, and the head of the family, Don whatever, was very sad. And this is horribly tragic, but his son had died.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And I gave him words to make him feel better about, just whatever. I don't know what I said, but I made him feel better.
Sure.
And I said, you are Paisan, I want you to come to the funeral.
Well, wow, that's an honor.
Whoa.
Not only an honor, you go.
That wasn't a question. That was a statement.
So months later, I had a horrible girlfriend who just used and abused me for years, took my money, and then she left me for another guy, right? Left me for another guy, and I'm heartbroken. So he says, want me to take care of this? So what do you mean? Do you want this situation to go away?
Man.
No, he's telling the truth,
Yeah. And I can't remember exactly, but the way I tell the story now is that I did think about it for a moment. But when I realized what he was saying, now of course I said, no, not like that.
Yeah.
Now I kept his number though for a long time.
Back pocket.
There is a certain power to knowing. Oh yeah, friend of mine.
Yeah.
He'll kill you.
Just in case.
You make me angry, he'll kill you.
Oh,
don't
man.
like your questions?
Yeah.
Hey, Luciano.
Just don't drop that outside the police office.
Oh, man. Oh, that's so crazy. Man.
So I'm actually going to bust out the socks now, and it's going to go along with the question, and it's going to be just, I know your spicy questions are ending early, but I'm going to let you get later. I know I've seen you do some stuff on Facebook and with your son, and I know you're a huge fan, and I want to hear about your first Beatles experience, because I got you some Beatles All Together socks, and those are
yeah, these are pretty
I didn't
great.
know if you had Beatles socks yet.
I think
you
have
probably
a pair
have.
of Beatles socks.
Okay.
These are extraordinary.
Yeah, they're not expensive, but I
Don't
hope
tell
they're
me that.
soft enough.
Yeah, that's the
But
best
these are
gift
happy
thing.
socks. Well, I think it looks like the same printer as my AOC socks here, but
It might be.
it's a quality sock.
I think so.
I promise you I'll be wearing these.
just
tomorrow.
double it up like a mask, put
I
the
will
other extra
promise.
sock under it.
You want a Beatles story? Real
Yeah.
Beatles, or the
Yeah.
first time as a little 6-year-old kid that I heard them? Which
I think
part
a
of my
real
Beatle life?
Beatles story, yeah.
Well, I have plenty of real Beatles, because Ringo Starr guest hosted the show in '85.
Oh, wow.
Now, he's in my office, which is covered in Beatle posters, because it is.
Yeah.
It's me, and I love the Beatles since I was a little kid, so there's a Hard Day's Night is all up there, and he's sitting in my office with Barbara Bach. And he said, oh, did you just put this stuff up for me? No, that's up there all the time. I go, really? Well, I don't want to do any Beatles stuff on the show. And I go,
wow.
Really? Because I had come up with this brilliant idea. Well, I think it was brilliant. To imitate the scene of his in A Hard Day's Night where he gets lost and nobody can find him and he's down by the river. It wouldn't be funny if we can't find Ringo before the show. And then you cut into this boy, dun, 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 and you find Ringo taking pictures. He finds a little friend by the Hudson River.
They
And I
do
thought
that a lot.
this would be great. He says, no, I don't want to do any Beatles stuff. There's no Beatles stuff. Okay, all right. And I said, hey, do you have any questions for me? Yeah, what was it like on Ed Sullivan? I mean, because when you've seen this view, the black and white, close your eye, doon, doon, right?
Yeah.
he said, I said, what was it like for them? He said, it was crazy. They had this little curtain in front of us, we're there, and we could hear the girls back there. And then Ed would do, and the Beatles. Yeah. And the curtain would go away, and it was just so deafening, the sound, and the girls going crazy. I couldn't tell where we were in the song, so I watched the guys, I watched the butts. Because that's how I could see where the beat was.
Wow.
Oh my God, cool. I just heard this from Ringo's side. There's more. So he said, hey, you have a place for me cigarettes. And I don't smoke, so I didn't have an ashtray. And I said, well, here, I have a coffee cup, right? Oh, he uses that. I have that coffee cup to this day.
Oh, wow.
I put plastic over the top, and Ringo's ashes are in there. There's no way to authenticate that, except that I can tell the story that goes with it.
Yeah, right.
There'll be ways in the future to validate that, I feel like.
That's so crazy. Yeah. That's so crazy.
Yeah, there'll be some DNA on the ash.
Yeah, exactly. See? Oh, man, that's crazy.
Did you have any other questions before we get into the pickle review? Or?
Are we doing the pickle review while we do the questions? Or are we doing...
We did last time.
This is complicated.
Yeah, it's so complicated.
We just mixed it all up. Let's bring her out. So this is actually, we don't usually do this, but I just put it in here for no reason.
Oh, I was going to say.
Let's let Gary reveal the pickles. Now, I have a story about this, just real briefly.
Okay.
These are Pittsburgh pickles. Mm-hmm. We ordered the actual original dill spears, but they didn't come in. They got lost in the mail, like somehow here on the way from Amazon. So these came next day. And we're definitely...
That is some serious pickle forking.
Yeah, it's a real pickle fork.
That is a real
pickle. Sharp.
So I'm assuming you're asking me for a pickle review.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So basically what we do is...
serve first?
We're actually we do this thing where we actually bite it all at the same time. It's called synonymous crunch.
Oh, synonymous crunch. Okay.
Yeah, different pickles, not the same pickles, different pickles.
Yeah, you can bite on the same pickle in the middle.
Just all of a sudden,
yeah, just take a couple, put on your plate, and then we'll bite it.
I'll bet it was the same pickles.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
Now, do you want pickles on your plate?
Yeah, finish with a kiss. He's going to serve us up. This is the first time on the Pickle Podcast where we're getting served. This is amazing.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Well, the restaurant business is my thing.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of pickles. So since I've given the two of you how often do you wash the tablecloth? Just out of curiosity.
We just washed it. Yeah,
you got a lot of pickle juice in there.
Oh,
that's what it's for, baby.
Time.
Okay, so what's the deal?
So we're going to try these, and then we're going to rate them. But first, we're just going to do synonymous crunch. And
synonymous crunch?
It's going to be a 1, 2, 3, go. That is interesting.
Particularly sweet.
Yeah. I was expecting like super... Well, there's some spice there.
There's some spice
at the end there.
Woo! There's some spice.
That's actually good. Yeah, that was... Yeah.
These are almost like an artisan pickle. Like they taste different.
It's very good. Mm-hmm. Now, if you were to put this pickle on a burger, it might upstage a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
The
flavor of it's very like it's not vinegary like a normal pickle. It's more like I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and it's there.
Did you see the junk in the bottom? If you lift it up, there's a whole lot of peppers and just stuff.
That's what it is. yeah. That, as a sales tool, don't say the junk in the bottom. If you're writing copy for this product, don't say you'll love our junk in the bottom.
To say junk.
Check out the junk.
Loving your junk in the bottom is for a very different product. But the junk in the bottom here, that is the pepper. Now, this to me is almost a popcorn pickle. In other words, I love like spicy hot Doritos.
Yeah,
I could watch a football game and eat these just one after the other.
They're totally like you can just eat a bunch of them. I feel like.
Do you want more pickles?
All right, I'll take some more, man.
Here and then I'll do some questions here for you.
Okay,
for sure.
All right, so I'm going to ask you every question, and then I want your all-time answer. So basically, like
all-time answer.
All-time.
I got you.
That's yours. What does all-time answer mean?
So that means, I'm going to ask you something, and then I want your answer for just all-time general. Like these are all specific, and then I want your most recent. So, so who was and is or has been the last 10 years your favorite SNL actor person? So the person that's actually on the stage, not the writer.
Ever. Biggest. Nobody made me laugh more than Chris Farley. Nobody.
No, for sure.
Chris Farley took what the Lord gave him and turned it into funny.
I bet.
Now, there was tragedy there because his size was where he drew his humor, and I think that there was self-loathing there. There was.
Right.
So I hate to think that I was laughing at the fat guy and a little
Yeah,
coat.
right.
But he took all of those things, like fat guy and a little coat, and turned it into the funniest thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't hurt here, but here. That's the funniest. I would take that Tommy Boy to a desert island.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
now my
Absolutely.
dressing room. He
Amazing.
inherited my dressing room, so I know the space where
wow.
he would, go after the show.
Should have hit him an Easter egg in there somewhere, like in the wall or something.
Something to find. Garrett Morris before me. So I've always had an affection for him because there's tragedy to it, but he gave his comedy. I love Will Ferrell,
Okay.
but he gave his comedy every cell in his body.
There's one scene where he's running down through the crowd, I think, and he's just going ape shit.
Uh-huh.
And that's one of the best ones ever, where he's just and then it's just him, It's
He
just
was
Chris
Belushi
Farley.
on steroids.
Yeah.
But he could also be very subtly funny.
Oh, absolutely.
quiet.
Yeah. Well, and my age, that was the first dude that I was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That dude was like,
Right.
that's it right
Yeah.
there. I want to do that. So, yeah, Chris Farley for sure. No, absolutely. What about in the last 5 years, 10 years, like Kenan Thompson style, stuff like that?
Well, I love Kenan Thompson.
Don't say Pete Davidson.
No, I couldn't say Pete Davidson, but I love Kate McKinnon so much. No,
Kate
nice.
McKinnon.
I say that, but at the same time, she's a little overused now.
Oh,
It's
sure.
like the Kate McKinnon show and the rest.
Right.
She's and it's not like you can get too much of her, but I like Beck Bennett. Actually,
Really?
yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah.
really do, 'cause
All right.
I relate to him in a way. I think
Because he's used subtly, but like...
yeah,
This is Beck
it's
Bennett,
like
right?
I like
Yeah.
his
Yep.
career. I
Beck
like
Bennett.
where he is and how his persona. Now, I actually met him too at the SNL 40th reunion, and he couldn't have been a nicer, sweeter, more humble guy.
See, that's good to know.
Yeah, and
That's super good to know.
I have an affection for him.
Awesome. No, that's cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't even know what you were going to say, so that's all. I love Beck Bennett. He's so good.
Good job at pulling stuff up so fast.
I try, man. My fingers are sore from I don't know what earlier, but I'm fine.
We don't want to talk about that. All right, so next.
You can eat that pickle?
Oh shit. Okay, sorry, I was talking a lot.
I was going to eat it if you were.
Can't just
I've
be
got
sitting
the
there.
jar.
Hey,
They're
take it
very
down.
good.
Take it down. What about Ryder? All time and most recent.
Well, Alan Zweibel is a good friend. And it's very hard for me not to say Alan Zweibel, not because he would be mad if I didn't, but Alan
There's no way you
Zweibel.
can spell that.
ZWIEBEL. Zweibel. Because he's done it all.
Oh, that's not it.
He was there from the very beginning. Now, I could say Jim Downey. I could say Rosie Schuster. I could say Annie Beats. I mean, they're all legendary. But Zweibel was the first name that I saw as a kid in college watching Saturday Night, and because it was the last name, and Alan Zweibel, because he's a Z.
Yeah.
I've always that's him right there, and he's probably doing my podcast very soon too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Zweibel. He works with Billy Crystal. He's written.
No, this is him younger.
Yep,
Isn't
that's him in the SNL heydays.
There he goes, and he's drinking. Is that what kind of beer is that?
I don't think that's a beer.
That's a mess
I
quick.
think it looks like his urine specimen. That's just him at the doctor saying hi to. Yeah, I would say Alan.
Oh, funny.
Awesome. Okay. What about the last few years?
Well, I'm going to say Steve Higgins.
Okay. All right.
Steve Higgins is an Iowa boy. Higgins and Gruber came out of, and his brother
okay.
Dave is a very good friend. And I'm not saying this because they're my friends, but they're my friends because I know them for these reasons. And
Yeah.
Steve, has came in.
for
That,
sure.
That's Steve.
Okay. Yeah.
And now he's, the announcer on
Conan?
Fallon.
Yeah. Fallon. Okay.
And
that's right.
but he's been the producer head writer for
He's great.
a long time. He's great, but he and his brother and this guy named Gruber were Higgins boys and Gruber for years. And they're Des Moines kids.
I really thought you were going to say Mulaney.
Well, coulda.
Could it?
Certainly coulda. There are many choices. Well, Mulaney would be a good choice.
Yeah.
But Odekirk too.
Oh,
Bob.
yeah. I forgot about that.
I have something I've been wanting to get off my chest. I happen to have a huge crush on Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So I was maybe hoping to squeak out of the one story from you about her, maybe.
Well, everybody has a crush on Julia. I had a crush on Julia. I mean, I knew her before her husband. And I seem to recall we went out on a date and even
I said dibs.
I believe we kissed. We kissed at the end of a date.
Oh, awesome.
But we always remained friends. And then she meets Brad Hall, and Brad's one of my dearest, closest friends, always has been. And they just hit it off. And so my little crush on Julia had to just sort of find its repressed place in my soul, right?
Yeah. Steve Harvey just came out and said that like men and women are not able to be platonic friends, and I totally disagree with that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't repress that urge, then just go back into your cave.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
No,
There's a certain amount of intellectualism that has to take over the groinism, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you can't control that to where you can be a friend, sure, you might be attracted to somebody. You might have very attractive friends.
Right.
Whatever gender. This isn't even a gender issue.
Sure.
But if you can only be attracted to them sexually, then what kind of a cave person are you?
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
De-evolved.
I never thought of it as like an intellectual type thing, but that is 100%. Just you're so caveman, you're just like must mate, must mate.
You know, and again, when you're look, it's you're not really friends if you just want to sleep with somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
So with someone like Julia, we did comedy together, and we became family, and her husband, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it transitions into, you know, I wouldn't say brother and sister, but something, you know,
Right.
Like kissing cousins.
like a French movie. You know, it's a French movie.
There you go.
Right.
With the spaghetti and stuff. I have a little store online. It's called drippycouture.com. There you go. And I almost made Julia Louis-Dreyfus socks, and I had like a shadow image of her, the black and white, and it was going to work out pretty well. But then they were like, "We need to redo your design, or it's not going to look very good." So we got something else instead.
This was a real story?
Yeah.
You spent time on this project?
I spent time looking up her face and looking for a black and white like image and like what can transpose on socks. And I was like, her face. She got a beautiful face, but I don't think it works on a sock. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't work on a sock. Whereas
she looks
I
very
think
familiar.
AOC works well on a sock.
Very unique.
She's a good sock face.
I think so too.
Julia is not a sock face. There's your takeaway quote for the promotional. Julia is not a sock face.
You heard it here first.
Hopefully she doesn't get offended by that.
I would think she'd be flattered that she's not a sock face.
Yeah. I won't put the AOC link in the description if you don't want me to. If you don't want other people to have those socks, if you want them to be exclusive.
No,
it's up to you,
put them in the description.
Okay,
man. There's no exclusivity to me about anything.
These are my socks. Nobody else can have them.
I'll share my toenail clippings. I don't care.
That's for OnlyFans. That's something else. That's something else.
But isn't that all kind of sexy, OnlyFans?
I mean, it wasn't meant to be, but it is.
But it is. So I would have to do things with my toenails.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's
Sprinkle them
probably
everywhere.
a niche crowd
that
is turned on by
for sure.
male toenail
Feet
clippings.
people. The feet people.
The feet people. But toenail clippings are very esoteric.
Yeah, there's banana people, feet people. I mean, just not even
And you
human
could
body
just blow
parts
that
anymore.
up. You could be the guy that changed it all. You know, it was girl feet, now it's guy toenails. Whatever.
Guy Toenails.
Yeah.
That's a good character name.
Guy Toenails.
I'm Guy Toenails. He's a race car driver or something. Part-time spy.
Guy Toenails.
Guy
Pushes the pedal to the metal.
There's no way he's a spy. Guy toenails.
Guy Toenails, no way. Yeah.
So I did see you post recently something that I thought was awesome, and you post like this maybe once a year. You're like, people ask me why I live in Iowa, and this is why. Can you tell us about what you posted?
I do that kind of thing a lot because I get that crap a lot and people.
Yeah, it's like questions all day.
I went back to LA once to say, Kroeger, do you all have flushing toilets back in Iowa? Honestly. And I think I said to this guy, I said, no, we box up our crap and we send it to LA, right? I get very defensive. Look, our state has made strides, it's lost strides. I think we're in a place right now where we need to find our vision again in terms of education and taking care of elderly and mental health and things like that. Sure. But we have done some very progressive things over the years. So I'm very protective of the state, and I'm very protective of the people and the geography. Iowa flat, but no.
Tulips and Pella, I think,
Tulips
are amazing.
and Pella.
Yeah.
Well, everything grows here. So I have an English garden that I created in my house, and it's just this. I put everything I want, perennials and annuals every year, and it's beautiful. And it's green and it's gorgeous. But one time I got off at the airport in Des Moines, and I'm driving through Grundy Center, and it's hilly, it's Grant Wood country, right? And it's all green. And I said to my wife, if we were in Ireland right now, in this exact same landscape, we'd be going, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful!
Yeah.
It's so
That's
beautiful."
true.
It's so
but
true.
we don't because it's Iowa.
Yeah, right.
And we've allowed that stigma to attach. The whole country has Iowa.
Right.
Iowa. So every once in a while, I get pissed off, and I was like, "Why do I live here? This is why I live here. I got an acre of land that would cost $6 million in LA. You know."
So you have kind of a character house too.
It is. It's an old house. I didn't. It's not an expensive house. I want to point out. I'm not some rich guy, but I have a cool old house that we fix up, and it's got an acre, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
So,
it's got the triangle front door roof.
Yeah, it's
style.
a classic Tudor.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it has Tudor plumbing. In fact, I think it's just called the crapper, and we have a craftsman come in there with a shovel and
shovel it out.
Just shovel it out.
Starting to stank that crap.
You shovel your driveway religiously, though. Like, you make a path for the mail guy, and it's very considerate.
You are a stalker.
Yeah, I was going to say. Wow,
It just comes from my feed, bro.
No, we're friends, and I do post these things, and I post them honestly. For anybody
I comment on them a lot.
if
So.
anybody's taking notes, I post them to create a brand. You're responsible for your brand. We're all responsible. This is a brand. This isn't who you are at home with your wife. Well, you might be.
I'm
You might
usually
be,
the same weirdo.
you might be in the dark darning Julia socks with your wife. You're a little different. But all of us, this public persona social media podcast, this is a brand that we're creating of something. So my brand is being this Iowan in the community. Yeah, you carve a path for the mailman through the snow. You do these things to show neighborliness and to promote the best
And it exists out here. In other places, it doesn't exist like that.
Midwest nice is what they would say. Midwest nice kind of style.
There's some hypocrisy to Midwest nice. I've met some Midwest a-holes.
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely.
I saw one the other day.
Well, the guy across the street from me has a Trump sign, and it only faces me. Nobody else can see it. It's just there to face me.
I saw a war the other day, too. These neighbors were pointing signs at each other's opposite signs. I was like,
But
wow.
it's so passive-aggressive, though.
Do you watch the window like, did they take my sign down?
Well, I'm this guy, though. I'm out. I don't even have a riding mower. I push my mower because exercise, just for me.
Sure.
But when my neighbor's out there, I'm always going like this. He will not wave back to me. Will not smile at me.
That's one thing, man. That triggers me when I'm like this and you don't. I'm like, whoa, move, buddy.
But I'm doing it not expecting it.
He might like you.
But my point is, if this is how you play the aggression game, I am going to smother you. Want to come over for pickles?
Oh, that's awesome.
Spicy pickles.
We'll give him the spiciest ones possible.
No, that's awesome. And this is what I think about people that don't like Iowa, that are in Iowa and won't ever leave Iowa, but will hate Iowa the whole time they're there. I just don't think they've figured it out. Like, they don't realize how good it is here.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like, if you figure it out,
I think a lot of it's that the winters are so terrible that the summers seem so amazing. It's like the difference in
but
tide.
spring's so good, fall's so good.
Well, wait,
Correct me.
I could take March off the calendar. It's muddy.
Yeah,
it's
March is
cold,
terrible,
it's
dude.
crap, right? But winter does set the table for us to enjoy spring and summer. Because, in LA, it's a nice day every day. That sounds great. Oh, we could golf every day. Great. Who wouldn't want to? No, you really don't.
Right.
You don't appreciate it.
Yep.
We love spring, summer, and fall so much because we go through that winter.
5 seasons.
And let's face it, for about 3 weeks, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And you don't
3
get
weeks,
that everywhere. Yeah, you're right. They don't understand. And I say to students, if you leave because there's nothing to do here, guess what? There's nothing to do anywhere for you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's here.
Yeah.
Now, go to New York, whatever, but don't think that you left here because I can't do a podcast. I can't paint my paintings. I can't run a business. I can't have a restaurant. Yeah, you can. Maybe easier.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And with everybody moving out of Hollywood or, out of LA now and doing stuff locally, this is the best time to do it.
Yeah.
It might actually be a blessing in disguise that the Figaro thing might have ended before the pandemic, because you might have had some more problems with that.
Well, yeah, my restaurant, which I opened here, and it was the same concept. We sang, and it was better received in LA for the singing, because LA is just an entertainment town. Here you got people, are you going to sing tonight? But then you got people who would come and go, you better not sing.
Yeah.
Which was weird to me.
Some people don't like to be bothered. Yeah.
Some people don't. But it's why you go to my place was to have great food and let's have a party.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was the concept, and I didn't want to water it down. But the restaurant business is tough.
Yeah.
and we went out of business. Well, we went out of business for reasons.
Just to be clear for everyone, like that hasn't caught this yet. Like he's talking about a restaurant that was in
Cedar Falls.
The one that you remade was in Cedar Falls, and then the original one was in
Los Angeles
or Los Angeles,
right.
Little Italy or something.
Oh, I was like, actually,
well, it was inspired by Italy.
Inspired by Italy.
Trip
So
yeah.
Well,
and the Europe again, if you're taking notes, the European way of dining is very different than America. You know, we're cheese and burgers and things, which is great.
Yeah.
And
Right.
But there, you go out late, you get wine at the table, you sing songs, you're probably dining till 4 a.m.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's a party. Dinner is festivals. It's jokes. The idiot son comes down with the accordion, and you all start singing folk songs. You know, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be nice to bring that, and I still think it's a good idea.
There's a reason why I love Chuck E. Cheese so much. You know what I mean? Because it's so great.
Yeah, and you brought up Ratatouille earlier, so you want rats with your food.
I do. Yeah.
Right?
So what is the cost of not using a realtor? Selling and buying requires a level of care only a realtor can provide. Keegan Ulrich is a growing real estate professional and is prepared for the spring season. He can help you navigate today's fast-paced market and get the job done. Help protect yourself and your investment by calling Keegan today at 319-270-8461. Keegan Ulrich is licensed in the state of Iowa under Iowa Realty. Call Keegan today at 319-270-8461 or visit Listing Cedar Rapids for more.
That's a good pickle. Are you a vapor?
You know, I actually used to vape, like the big vapey things.
Well, what are you doing now?
He just breathes smoke.
This is just like tobacco, but I used to actually do the cloud vapey things, like the cloud douchebags. And that just
there goes our target audience.
Stung my lungs. So our target audience. No, our target audience is girls with tattoos with daddy issues, but we'll get into that later.
No, that's who I date.
No, yeah, I used to vape. I vape on this now, and I do it too much, and I'm looking for an alternative. Maybe, I don't know.
I have a lot of vapors in my life, not myself, but.
Yeah, I don't. It's tough to say if that's going to be harmful later. I feel like it's not as bad as cigarettes, though. You know, so like I'm a supporter of it somewhat. But
that's like justifying. You know, cigarettes are better than black tar heroin.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've heard of the popcorn lung and stuff. Like for instance, though, my dad smokes. He smokes cigarettes, or he tries to, right? And then, you know, I'm like, maybe you should just get a Views to, you know, so you don't go buy a binge pack of cigarettes. So it helps him somewhat. So some people I support it, but yeah, it's not a good thing.
Well, I'm the first generation of little kids who come home from school. My dad was a smoker. Dad, this is my lung, and this is your lung on cigarettes, and it's just this ashtray over
it
here.
Makes you feel so terrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it makes you feel so bad. But yeah,
he's trying to say that to you right now. That's what he's trying to say.
I'm gonna just like dispose of this right now.
Yeah. Yep. You won't have it anymore.
Took care of that. Didn't
There it was. Boom.
Yep. But I was also going to ask you about. I did see something recently that you are now the director of an organization that helps kids.
Yes.
Or,
not director.
Not director,
no.
but you're.
I've been involved for a number of years with an organization called CASA, which is Court-Appointed Special Advocates for Abused and Neglected Kids.
Yeah.
So they're simply an advocate for the child alone that represents them in court to the judge to give the judge a more accurate depiction. Not that DHS and all aren't doing their jobs, but to have another person who has met the kids, talked to them, knows what the case is, the case of abuse or the case of whatever it is, to be able to say to the judge in a report, this is what my observation is happening. So it really helps kids to know that there's a constant through, you know,
like
when
someone there. Yeah.
You don't go into foster care unless something bad has already happened.
Right.
So these are very vulnerable kids, and CASA has the opportunity to be with this child until they are placed into a permanent home that we know is safe.
That's awesome.
So I've been working with this, and now I'm going through CASA training to actually be one of those court-appointed special advocates.
That's like a transition that's been missing for a long time, I feel like.
Well, it's been, CASA's been around for a while, but there aren't enough. You know,
enough of them.
Even knowledge out there, like how can we support this in any way?
Yeah, tell the audience how we can support it.
CASA.org for starts. The awareness alone helps, and to tell people about it, you can always donate because it does. It's a volunteer. I don't make a dime. No CASA makes any money at all. But you do have to have trainers and materials and things that cost money.
Yeah, everything costs some money. Yeah.
So donations are important. But what can happen is, and there's CASA breakfasts that I run actually all over the state, or now we're doing them online. Where you might just go, you know what? I got 4 hours a week. I could be a CASA. And that's all the commitment really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's good work.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
it's good work. You're
Absolutely.
learning about a child whose life could be dramatically changed from something really bad to great.
Yeah.
And
At
so
that-
if you think you've got 3-4 hours a week, you go, so people go to the CASA.org or these organizations and these events, and we recruit.
So if you've
That's
thought
awesome.
about doing this before, go ahead and go to the website, guys, and check it out. I'd recommend it. What else do we have to talk about? Do you have anything left from the spicy questions?
Yeah,
I've
man. I
enjoyed
mean,
them.
I'll keep going. Yeah,
Go,
that's
just
cool.
give me throw another at me.
All right. So remember all time, and then
Yeah.
most recent stand-up comedian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, wow. I'm going to say George Carlin for the alt.
There you go. Yeah. No,
Because-
absolutely.
One of my favorites.
And George Carlin really, the cloth, he took the cloth that was cut out by Lenny Bruce,
Yeah.
just honesty,
Less swear. Well, less aggressive.
Yeah, less.
the first comic that I literally wet my pants watching was Richard Pryor.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first time I thought, that a genius is standing around on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first comic that I was in the presence of when he was a nobody was Steve Martin. Went to a little
yeah.
club in Chicago
right.
about the size of this room. Steve Martin is performing, and we couldn't believe what we saw. We'd never seen absurdist stand-up comedy before.
Yeah. Right.
That's exactly what it is.
Right, so I'm giving you my Mount Rushmore, but you asked
Yeah.
for all time. It has to be George Carlin because he evolved.
Yeah.
He had a certain kind of act that was intellectual and the 7 dirty words, but that ain't what he was doing at the end.
No.
Yeah.
They were monologues about the socio-political climate
Yep.
that we
Love it.
laughed at because he was so honest.
It's
He
still
was
relevant
telling
today.
it. It's still relevant.
Still relevant.
Yes.
So that's a template that I just don't think, that's not going to be mirrored anytime soon.
The closest thing we have right now is Chappelle. Currently.
Well, you didn't
Like,
give
when
me
he's
that
saying-
opportunity to say new.
okay, you were leading. I apologize. You were leading. What?
Because that is Chappelle now.
Okay, yeah,
And I am as addicted to, but Chappelle is so enigmatic, and it's like you only get to see him when he wants you to see him, sort of.
Yeah,
It-
right.
it-
Oh, yeah, for
so
sure.
I'm still a Louis C.K. fan.
Okay.
I
all
love
right.
Louis C.K.
I'm
Yeah.
still a Louis C.K. fan because he's honest. He's
He has
not
the greatest writing I've ever seen.
and I like his. How do I say I like his subject matter? Well, it works because he lays himself out there.
Yeah.
Even in his new act, I don't know if you've seen it. He comes out and says, "Okay, you want to talk about it? All right, let's
Yeah,
talk about
right.
it."
Let's talk about it.
He puts it on the table. Now that doesn't mean everybody needs to go, "Oh, you're forgiven." No,
Right.
But he's going, "Look, that was my thing.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that." We're allowed, ladies and gentlemen,
Right.
to change, because if we don't allow people to change, we're screwed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't just be so woke that
Label
you're
forever,
gone,
yeah.
you're gone,
Cancel
you're gone,
culture.
you're canceled,
Yeah.
you're gone, you're done
Yeah,
for the rest of
exactly.
your life. No, the best thing you can do is go, "Wow, bad, reform."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And give
But
them the
don't
space
cancel.
to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that to me is Louis C.K. Now, I also love Gaffigan.
Jim
Okay.
Gaffigan.
All right.
He's the
Yeah.
most family friendly right
Clean.
now.
Yeah.
going on.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but Chappelle is the
great.
answer to that, because he doesn't even have to be funny.
Right.
He
No,
he can just
just
tell the
makes
truth.
you
Crazy.
think about something where you do the funny.
Yeah.
Yep. He
Yeah.
triggers the funny inside of you.
Yeah,
That's
the funny
insane.
inside.
That's crazy. Yeah. No, I agree with that. That's. Yeah. He reminds me, like, when people talk about Carlin and I watch old Carlin, I'm like, man, if Chappelle keeps doing this in like
Yeah.
5 years, it's going to be very, very close.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I like that. So what about, I'm going to go with like a actor, but that was like a guest on SNL. That was your favorite.
All time?
All time.
Howard Hessman. But that's
Okay.
not a name that necessarily, Dr. Johnny Fever, WKRP. He was one, not of the Compass Players, but he was an original improv comic in the heyday of Second City.
How do you
and
spell
all.
his last name?
Hessman, Hessman. Howard Hessman. That's Howard right there.
Right here?
Yeah, and there he is with me on Saturday Night Live. That's
Oh,
in
wow.
a scene with me right there.
Da-da-da-da-da.
And anyway, he's an actor, and he was an improvisational actor. And we did 2 things together, and then he came back and we did a couple things. So I did several sketches with him, and we both committed to the lines. We made them theatrical pieces.
Okay.
And once you know the piece and you don't have to use cue cards, you could actually improvise a little bit in there. And so he took a few swings and things, and I went along with him. So I never had a better time than with Howard Hesseman. I'll give you the example. I co-wrote a sketch about a young man who comes home from college. You hear him on the phone, "Oh, my son's coming home and I'm nervous and you want it to be right." And I come home and we've had, shadow box. And then I sit on the couch and I say, "Dad, I have a confession I have to make. I got to tell you that school's a little different for me and I'm changing. The audience is so nervous." And you see him getting nervous and the audience is certain I'm going to say I'm gay.
Yeah, right.
And I went, "Dad, I'm straight."
Nice.
I like girls. And Howard went, "You and girls?" And he starts to weep. And then he throws in this line, I should have played with you more when you were a baby. Now, I want to point out to anybody listening, this was not to make fun of gay.
Right.
This was to show people how ludicrous it is that we put people through that because of their sexual identification.
Right.
So to make that point, it seemed to work going, "Everything's going to be gay. Dad, I'm straight." Point being, normal people are gay. He was a very normal father, and he wanted his son, to follow in his footsteps.
That's hilarious.
So the premise, I think, is still weighty, but the point is he was just so good at the nuance of being this guy that you thought was a dad, and then you realize, oh, Cliff on the phone is his boyfriend, and when he's fluffing the pillows and things, he just brought so much. So Howard Hesseman for me all time.
That's awesome.
I did hear a joke the other day. It was, "Don't mess with my trans friends or I'll identify as a problem." Which I thought was pretty funny. You know what I mean? It had the F word in there too, but I toned it down for that. But yeah, I think we got a couple more minutes here, so I definitely wanted to bring out the second thing that we got. Yeah, and
I'm getting swag on this.
Yeah, you're getting swag now. Now this, before I bring it out, I don't know if this is the right size. It's a large, but we got you some codeine pickle socks with pickles on the ankles. So maybe, and I think you might want to wash those and dry them real quick because they shrink a little bit. I don't know why they're so wide. It looks like you have a really wide.
You really don't need to apologize for the size of the sock that you're giving me.
Can you show them how wide it is?
Yeah, that's a wide sock.
Yeah, that's
a wide sock. The pickles are hiding it. That's a wide sock. But I'm not going to wash them first. I want to see the sock calf ratio.
Maybe it's the 80s style with the bunch up at the bottom.
Maybe it is, but I want to see where the ankle fall takes place.
Exactly.
This could be a very stylish sock.
It could be. I made it. I don't know if I noticed this when I make them, but like if you are
you made this?
Yeah, I designed them.
Not knit. He didn't knit.
Yeah, we have a hood. No, I designed it. Yeah, I made it from.
So I made you send this to a company and saying, "I want this."
Yeah, it's a drop shipping company. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how those turn out because if when you sit down, your legs pull up a little bit, and it shows the pickle every time. So yeah, I didn't put the pickle high. I put it low. So you can see the pickle.
Here's the beauty of me and the sock. Now, do you know the sock story?
I don't know the sock story.
My wife, for Christmas, my beautiful wife gave me Nordic socks. Just some nice winter socks. And I put them online and go, these are nice. And Brad Hall comes on and goes, well, you don't know socks until you've worn Bombas.
Right, Bombas.
So Brad sends me Bomba socks.
Link in description.
So I... So I put up a faux newspaper article going, the news in Waterloo's so slow, so I had a picture of me in Bomba socks looking like it's the local paper. Brad Hall sends Gary Kroeger socks. Yes. So I started getting 12 pairs of socks a week.
Oh, wow.
I now have so many socks that I don't wear. I wear a suit with a necktie and socks like this.
Yeah, he does. He has to wear them. Or else
and most places where I go, what are you wearing? And I'm wearing my Kiss socks today.
That's so awesome, man. Well, yeah, I want to thank you for being here.
Thanks. This was a blast.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'll come back anytime you want.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're not too far away.
There's more stories.
More stories, more questions. Yeah. We got it all.
For every pickle, there's an awesome story. So thanks for coming, Gary. Round of applause, everyone.
Thank you.
Man, I'm on to a new pickle. Thank you, guys. That was fun. That was excellent.
Got it.